What's going on, guys? My name is Yellow S2K and welcome to some MX vs ATV Reflex, and this is another custom track review. We are at the OA. This is made by Punker Jeffy. It's a pretty cool track. It's this desert environment and you wind up and down and throughout the water, which is pretty cool. But really, it's just nice to see a different environment, this desert stuff that's not just the normal like loamy with pine trees, that kind of thing. It's a fast, rough track, lots of braking bumps, acceleration bumps, there's some blind corners, some blind jumps that you definitely need to keep an eye out for. But the weirdest thing is this start straight. The start straight is super long until you get into the actual loop of the track, so you don't see any of this again when you're actually in a race. It's just the start. Very long, kind of odd, and it's really rough, so it's one of those where you almost want to go a little bit slower through it and make sure you don't crash. Because I guarantee if you're in a full gate on this, people are going to be wadding themselves on this rough start. It doesn't look that technical, but trust me, it'll catch you out. Again, still start straight. After this water, this kind of banked right-hand turn, that, boom, that's all the start straight. Now we're on to the actual loop of the track. Pretty strange. Not a negative, but just something different for sure. A lot of scrub jumps on this track, kind of fall away singles. A lot of variety in lines. You can see a few ruts there. I actually jumped off one of them on accident. Easy to over jump this jump right here. You want to hit nice in that sweet spot so you can just rail that outside. It's easy to lose the front end and the back end there. Some more line choice. Definitely rough. You need to ride this track in a very specific way. Jump across the water. It's at a weird angle. You got to be careful jumping that one. Kind of a double off-camera corner there. I do like how you wind through the water. This track is actually a lot of fun. You do have to get into that rhythm, which is the case with most rough Reflex custom tracks, but this one in particular, you really got to be careful. Easy to just launch that. Got to remember about that jump. Try to rail the outside here. Lots of rough stuff. The line choice is really fun, and just the braking bumps really make it where you can kind of jump between braking bumps and have a flow that you wouldn't normally have. Kind of use the braking bumps and the acceleration bumps to your advantage. Really difficult S-turn there, almost like a mini screw you from Unadilla in its own weird little way. And we're back around. So that is a lap. We'll try to see if we can smooth things out just a little bit as we jump off track. But like I said, this track is really all about not fighting the track. You want to really gel with the track, flow through things. You can see I'm kind of bouncing off things a little bit wacky and not carving through things like you should. Let's see if we can dive the inside here. Definitely the fast line if you can hit the angle correct. I do like some of the ruts. There's just enough choice through some of these lines and some of these corners that it's pretty fun to just switch it up here and there. Really launched that one. Again, this angle is kind of strange. You want to scrub it. It's a little goofy through there. There we go. We got the off-cambers really nicely through there that time. You can see once you start really gelling with it, carrying your front end, using the bumps to your advantage to just flow through the track, it just ends up being really, really cool. And I think that's really when this track shines. And it's not, oh shit, nice. It's not easy to do. It might look like it because it's like, well, why isn't he just full throttle through there, leaning back? It's like, well, you're just going to be slamming against stuff and frustrated. But once you can actually gel with the track and kind of bounce around, as you know, even just that corner there, it's like I slowed way up. It almost looked like I was like, uh-oh, why is he going so slow into that? But really it made it where I could catch that inside nice and smooth and not override the track. I've ridden this a whole bunch and realized that a lot of the time I'm overriding the track. And if I do that, I'm going way slower. It's crazy how the lap times really correlate and show you that. Even just right there, I slowed up to make sure I got that middle rut. Go outside this time. But I really do like the tracks where you have to have a little bit of finesse and really use those bumps to your advantage. Or at least not fight them. Far too often you watch people play this game on these rough custom tracks and you see people just slamming through braking bumps. And then you watch somebody that really hits a really fast lap around something and they're smooth. They're using those braking bumps to find little doubles and triples into corners or out of corners and just using it to kind of just have a nice rhythm or flow. But you really have to be feeling it. Once you kind of get out of that rhythm, which I think I'm out of it right now, to be honest, it falls apart very, very quickly. All the way outside here. Gotta remember, this is a scrub jump. Ooh, actually cased it. It's a really small one. You can kind of cheat that corner a little bit. But yeah, it just has a really fun flow to it. And it's rough enough that it keeps things interesting. I'm always finding new, different ways to hit things, like railing that outside this time and clearing this entire table. We haven't done that yet. Actually, a little OJ, I'm surprised. That's a big gap there. But I feel like I'm constantly finding a better way to hit different corners, which I think will make for some really good racing. I think Punker Jeffy, he's always made some really good tracks, and this is definitely no exception. And this track, for some reason, it has a different feeling to me. It's one of those that'll be a little bit more memorable than your generic track with just like perfect dirt and pine trees everywhere and just tons of objects. It's like there's not that much going on, but for some reason it just really works for this desert type environment. It's pretty cool. Trying to think things I don't like about this track, to be fair. Really, it's just that start straight. And it's not that I don't like it necessarily, it's just that I'd like to see it a little bit different. Because it's just really rough and fast and almost impossible to get through super cleanly unless you just bounce around and get a little lucky. Not to say you can't get through there clean, but I just don't see the real big benefit of that crazy long start straight. But otherwise, just really, really fun track. One of those that makes you realize why Reflex is still around and why people are still making tracks for it. It just works really, really well for some of these rough tracks. I love leaning back and bouncing through things and, you know, even letting off and being like, alright, I need to go slower through there, and then just a little brep just to clear something nice and smooth and triple those braking bumps. That's really, I think, what the custom tracks did the best in this game. You can see there's that table that we overjumped last time. It's pretty big. So we can jump that. Would be cool if we could have doubled it in. Double in, single. Oh, we're all over the place. I am actually playing almost with one hand right now, by the way. I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah, I just had surgery on my shoulder, and I can barely grip the controller with my other hand. Barely. So I'm kind of playing with 1.5 arms. It's super awkward how I have to hold the controller right now. I had to like kind of reteach myself how to play the game. It'll be like this for another 6 weeks minimum, if not a little bit longer. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Let's try to finish this strong though. Finish it with a little bit of flow. Cutting corners, you know. Pretty fun section through there when you hit it right. Nice rail around that rut. I haven't really pieced together a nice lap, but you can tell there's different parts where I'll hit something really smooth and it just really works, and then there's other times where I do shit like that. But piecing together a really fast lap on this track would really be nice. It's interesting that big table is actually the finish line. So let's try to finish this last lap, and we'll try to finish with clearing the finish line. That'll be the goal. We just got to remember the crazy S turn. We need to go on that outside on the second one to be able to launch that finish. Almost lost it there, but I'm wanting to get fastest lap time on this last one. That's the goal here. Oh, we got kicked sideways. That's going to make us lose some time, but we'll keep on charging. Launched that all the way to that roller. Reflex, but we got through. Go inside. Far fucking outside. There goes our lap time, but that's at least finished with clearing that finish line. Maybe some big scrubs. Definitely a difficult track. That's what you want. You want these tracks to be rough, difficult, and really got to put some time into them for them to pay off. But I think I could get into a good groove where I'm throwing some really nice laps on this track. Even just that right there, you can see I got through that little on-off just a little bit smoother than I have before. And I know what I need to do next time. So it's pretty cool. Just constantly learning on this track, and that just shows the replayability that this one definitely has. And a lot of tracks don't have that replayability. That's a really fun section through there. Just launch this sucker. Remember, we need to go outside here to clear that table at the finish. Anyway, guys, that's a glimpse at this track. This is the OA by Punker Jeffy. It's a pretty fun one. Definitely something a little bit different, something that I'll remember, but definitely something that's going to take some extra time to get good at. But hopefully that gives you guys an idea of what it's like. Download it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.